Another exhilarating episode of the Know Your Pharmacist Livestream. I'm your host, Dr. Joaquin Acosta, CEO of Pharmtrue, and your trusted guide on this transformational journey tonight towards optimal wellness and understanding. Guys, tonight, we're not just connecting, we're collaborating to elevate our collective consciousness. We're here to brainstorm solutions, share expert science, and most importantly, to love and support each other in our quest for better health and happiness. Let's kick things off, guys, with something that's been buzzing in the news: Rite Aid's potential move towards bankruptcy. What does that mean for you, for us, and for the future of community-driven healthcare? We're going to dissect that all. Then we'll pivot into the fascinating world of tech talk. Ever wondered how AI is revolutionizing healthcare decisions? Well, tonight we're going to be diving deep into the latest study showing ChatGPT's incredible accuracy in clinical settings, and we'll talk about that groundbreaking, interesting, potentially new future that we're all living in, right? Anyways, again, after that, we're going to see our Enlightenment Hour, going to be a game changer. We're going to explore the psychology of money and looking into a little bit of how your money type influences your choices in life, right? So whether you're a spender, a saver, or somewhere in between, we're going to dissect that in this segment and offer you valuable insights. And the Herbal Wellness Corner is going to be a treat. We're going to discuss the booming cannabis industry in the state of New Mexico. Not just about the green, guys. It's about breaking stigmas and fostering a culture of educated choices. What does that mean for our state? Where are we at right now? We'll be talking about a little bit of all of that. In our community spotlight, guys, we're going to meet Scott Sullivan, a race car driver at Vado Speedway Park, whose story is as captivating as it is inspiring. And finally, in our Men's Health Minute, we're going to delve into the complex relationship between masculinity and healthcare seeking behavior. Huge shout out, guys, to our incredible show sponsors, Pharmtrue, High Horse, the Trichome Alliance, and Vado Speedway Park. Your support makes this an enlightening experience possible for us all. So grab your favorite beverage, drink up, settle in, and let's make this the most excellent and creative episode yet. You ready to be captivated? Jump on in, guys. So talk in Rite Aid. Rite Aid files, or at least has their eyes set towards a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. What exactly does that mean? Interesting. Well, opioid cases, lingering debt has the company in financial distress. So check this out. The federal government sued Rite Aid back in March, accusing it of filling hundreds of thousands of prescriptions for illegal drugs, including opioids, between May 2014 and June 2019. The Department of Justice believes Rite Aid ignored any guidance that has been given to pharmacists about illegal drug distribution. So Rite Aid also has other lawsuits, including one filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, accusing the pharmacy of misleading shoppers about the health benefits of its oral care dry mouth discs. Interestingly enough, on top of that, their quarter one and quarter two results are trash right now, unfortunately, for Rite Aid. And so what that means is, the so popular ever Rite Aid, which granted in Las Cruces, New Mexico, we don't see Rite Aid. I think we've got it in the northern part of the state. But again, they are facing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. First 3 months of the year, Rite Aid already closed 25 stores. They have 180 locations. So what could that mean? Who knows? They already tried to kind of merge with Walgreens and Albertsons. But that's a big deal because you see the kind of general, big shaking that's happening in the pharmacy industry right now. Not only the evolution of pharmacy going into technology, right, and the future of where the automated healthcare revolution may be going, but on top of that, Rite Aid is trying to dive, and dodge the accountability there for, all the opioid misfeelings and all the opioid lawsuits. So right now they're $3.3 billion in debt. Rite Aid had 2,600 locations. But again, Chapter 11 filing covers Rite Aid's more than current $3.3 billion debt load, pending legal allegations that it oversupplied prescription painkillers. So again, Philadelphia-based Rite Aid has not agreed on a settlement with federal, state government, and private opioid plaintiffs to resolve those opioid liabilities in a potential Chapter 11. is currently planning to treat them as a general unsecured claims. They said. So, somehow Walgreens, CVS have been able to kind of dodge the opioid lawsuits or cover their butts a little bit better. But it does cause a little bit of, again, sight for concern to some of the degrees of Rite Aid kind of getting out of it with a Chapter 11 bankruptcy may mean they don't even have to have any accountability for it. And is that a loophole of the system, which is kind of frustrating for sure, because it doesn't address the damage that was caused by their, opioid misfilling from 2014 to 2019 and whatever responsibilities that they had on that. So again, it's a big deal. And the other thing that's happening right now, big time in the pharmacy industry, is Winn-Dixie pharmacies are currently selling out to Aldi, or basically Winn-Dixie is selling out to Aldi. Their pharmacies are going to be taken over by both Walgreens and CVS. So, these are pharmacies that we do not have currently right here in the state of New Mexico. Winn-Dixie's not here, but again, Walgreens and CVS are going to have a bigger infiltration into that big Aldi deal as they acquire Winn-Dixie. And, currently Rite Aid is going bankrupt. So, whoever acquires Rite Aid is going to be a different shaker there. So again, this grocery store pharmacy business is continuing to shake itself out. Very, very, very interesting. And the thing that is not being addressed there is the pending opioid lawsuits currently against Rite Aid and the wrongdoings that were done there. This is just, parallels to things that were done already in the opioid industry and pharma, right? You had, with the big opioid lawsuits, right? You can literally shut down your company and rebrand as a new one, kind of with some loophole kind of things. And it just causes concern for the industry. So again, billions of dollars of opioid settlements over the entirety of like the last 20 years. And there are more that are just continually on the line. And then we see other things when we see fentanyl, when we see, the rise of the war on opioids. So again, guys, Rite Aid is literally trying to ditch out, and it's not really right how that's all going to work out. And that's kind of what I was just kind of going to highlight there. In pharma, this happens everywhere it happens. So again, just parts of the industry there. Moving on, guys. So again, that was our Pharmacist Frontline, brought to you guys by Pharmtrue, our esteemed sponsor of the Pharmacist Frontline segment. Pharmtrue is more than just a pharmacy. It's a beacon of innovation and quality, providing pharmacist-formulated cannabis products since 2019. With a commitment to education and a trusted, safe, well-designed solutions, Pharmtrue is empowering wellness through their pharmacist-formulated cannabis products and community-driven healthcare. Join them in their journey towards a healthier future, backed by science and nature. Visit website pharmtrue.care for more on the revolutionary movement. Moving on to the tech talk, guys. Jumping into ChatGPT. For those of you who don't know what ChatGPT is, check this thing out. So again, ChatGPT scored a 72% in clinical decision accuracy, new study shows. So again, this, at Mass General Brigham, researchers over there have found a large language model to have impressive accuracy despite limitations. And so, ChatGPT, a publicly available free service, large language model service where it's a blank slate where you can type into, and, if you pay on for more features, you can get, higher amounts of processing from it. Right. And it's a really, really, cool, interesting thing brought out there by OpenAI. And now they've got all kinds of different chat bots and different AI utilities that are out there. So again, ChatGPT being, kind of one of those OGs in that space. Well, interestingly enough, ChatGPT is already grading out, right, at the level of, an intern or even beyond that in clinical decisions and the accuracy there. So that's pretty interesting. What makes doctors different there versus, of course, the ChatGPT thing right now? Everything at the end of the day. But so differential diagnosis is where ChatGPT was only 60% accurate. So in clinical management decisions, underperforming at a 60% accuracy based on clinical data, the language learning model was trained on. So it was best in making a final diagnosis with 77% accuracy. Overall accuracy, 71.76% accuracy. So, the comment there, ChatGPT struggling with differential diagnosis being the meat and potatoes of medicine. When a physician has to figure out what to do, it's most important because it tells us where physicians are truly experts and adding the most value in the early stages of patient care with little presenting medication information when a list of possible diagnoses is needed. So again, where you look at, how is AI going to be influential in healthcare? Crazy enough that this little bot that was invented on the internet, released on the internet within the last year or two is now already grading out almost sufficient levels to, physicians in terms of making decisions. Granted, it's not there yet, but what is the cool part there is, health tech focusing on cutting physician burnout, right? How does it do that? Streamline documentation tasks, search for data, and answering patient questions. Interestingly enough, but can you get to that point of where, AI is a trustable solution in aiding the clinical decision making? Again, we talked a little bit about Google's solution there, and maybe Google is closer right now to integrating that into systems, but where this, independent kind of training model already scores there, it's a very insane, concept. And I think, physician burnout can really be addressed. I don't think it's anything that, and all healthcare provider burnout can be addressed because you can already 100% guarantee that healthcare access is an issue. There's not enough in the ratios to do a good job out there. You can have a computer aiding the decision so you can make more decisions faster, working alongside the technology in a more harmonious way. That is the future, guys. That's the future of healthcare. That's the future of speeding things up. So again, for the record, I don't know if anybody has even used ChatGPT. Those of you who are still in school, those of you who are, fresh out of school are probably more of the adoptees than, those beyond. Because, people try new things and try new apps to some degree in that age group a little more. And so, right, where ChatGPT, you may have seen in the headlines, students using it to cheat on their homework or what is this, that, and the other. All comes down to the intent at the end of the day, because you can use these things for good, for bad. And at the same time, if this exists in the environment, how can you as a teacher, adapt to what's out there to help students learn and, be the best that they can be without, being vulnerable to a situation where your perhaps curriculum may be, subject to, leaky, cheating things through ChatGPT or whatever that may be. So granted, I'm not a teacher or anything like that, but maybe for some of the old school, mentalities there, you can think, hey, well, AI is helping people cheat in school. Well, no, how about if you, were actually graded on how you were using that AI and your understanding with your, using of that, and you don't have to be, curbed around. And granted, I don't believe that curriculums have by any means caught up to any of this yet. And that's probably a vulnerability with, everything that happens where technology is superseding the speed of the evolution of, mankind, and where the decisions that technology makes start becoming, even broader in their ranges and abilities. The human understanding of how humans learn needs to be better applied to, not only be harmonious with that, but to, better human understandings of themselves. So very, very interesting, where doctors can see that time to dial in of, hey, how am I going to make that data-driven decision? It's a very cool situation there. And, there's probably more doctors than not that are thinking, hey, I wouldn't trust this. And, maybe there will be a place for it someday in the healthcare systems, but we don't have to be there yet. And that's okay. But I want to talk about it for sure. So again, where, large language models are literally getting trained for healthcare purposes, for whatever purposes that they may be, right? If they're accountants or whatever these things are, eventually those little minds for, the computers are going to be programmed into more, mobile sensing, machines, where you really do see those robots that are really, really human-like, that have those characteristics to be able to serve, very, very specific functions throughout our society. So that's awesome. Cool. All right. Enough about robots. Talking Enlightenment Hour. We're talking about cash. What you think? So talking about money types today, this is a very, very interesting, little, thing I kind of wanted to bring up here, because again, financial health and health are, related, whether we like it or not. So in our Enlightenment Hour, what about learning things about, your financial health or your money type could actually help not only your health, right, but everything else. So I thought very interesting topic to bring up today, talking about money types. I'm going to show you guys a little video here. I think it's just something I want to show. And we'll get this right here, right now.
And what would you do? Today, we're going to take a look at our money types. People will respond so differently to the $1,000 in your hands. So we're going to take a look at different money types, and we'll find out why we became that way and reasons behind it. Knowing your money types will free you from money. The reason why we became the money type is that we have certain feelings. We try to control the feelings. That's why we became certain money types. I'm going to explain you a little later, but knowing the money types will help you transform your relationship with money. So there are three money types. The first one is a controlling type. We have certain reaction to money. When we think of money, controlling type people would try to do something. That's why they're an action-oriented people. And the second one, indifferent type, is they are living their life as if they have nothing to do with money, because they have probably been brought up in a happier family, so they didn't have to think of money. It's a very fortunate thing to do. They're very fortunate people, but because of the upbringing, they became very indifferent to money. The third category, the fear type, is they are so afraid of money, so that's why they try to run away from money. I'm going to explain those types in detail. So you took the money quiz, so you know what's going on in your life, and I'm sure you've seen all the money types and then thought of somebody else. Could be your parents, could be your friends, could be your partner, it could be your kids, could be your siblings. What's interesting is, even if you're brought up in the same household, your brother and your sister could be a totally different money type. And the reason why you marry to a different money type is because we are so attracted to the different one. I'm going to explain you in details. So even if the money type that I'm explaining is a different one, you always find somebody who is exactly the type. And that will probably give you a smile. Oh, I know that person. And also that gives you an opportunity why that person became that money personality. Because before, you can't stand some friends or relatives or close friends or your partner. Why do you spend so much money? Or like, why are you thinking about talking about business plans, and you don't get it. But as you listen to my explanation, you get it. Why these people became that money type.
So, all right, basically that, giving you kind of a little bit of a outline to the different types of money types, right? Like looking at the controlling type, right? Are you a spender? Are you a saver? Are you a money maker? The indifferent type, do you even, are you completely apathetic to money? Are you the fear type of money? The fear type shout, examples of the fear type when it comes to money: hippies, gamblers, savers, splurgers, worriers. So again, there's different types of money personalities, right? That, knowing that and knowing how other people's money types are, it just becomes, more of the active consciousness again on how does that, what would that make you do? Because you got the three main money types being your controlling money type, which can be, you can be a spender, you can be a saver, you can be a money maker, right? Those are different types of money types within that classification. So those subtypes influence how you react to money, right? So again, you might react to your money wounds through control, right? So again, if you're a money maker, you're going to try to make more money. That's your control of that, right? Or again, if you're a spender and you can have control by spending, you're going to spend whatever that is. Because you are a controlling type, you are going to have a subtype influence. So I'm putting these like in the little chat here, guys, just to kind of think about this. And you can do your own independent thought research on it. And this isn't like new science by any means. It's just different because, it's not something you necessarily think about in school about, hey, what type, what is your, relationship with money to some degree. Some people may never grow up with any sort of relationship to money, or, maybe, most people aren't going to sit there and personify what money is or something like that to them, but to have a better relationship with, a utility that exists in your life, right? Where is that, interestingly enough, going to end up? And that's just a cool thought, cool thing to learn on, to expand on in your own personal regards. And I think, health is wealth, absolutely, and knowledge is absolutely power, guys. So, the things that you can do is think about, where does that, come out to existing, right? So looking at all that, different money types, looking on the screen, money maker, spender, controller, indifference, fear type. So again, these do all affect how you interact with the world around you, so on and so forth. So again, talking about money, guys, moving on to our Herbal Wellness Corner, guys, talking New Mexico's cannabis industry. So money, money, money. In July, guys, New Mexico's cannabis sales topped $34 million, breaking the previous record. So that's pretty insane. And granted, everything you hear around is, hey, the cannabis industry, it's not worth getting into, and maybe some of the different perspectives that come there. But I think the interesting point there is, outside of that, New Mexico's cannabis sales topped $34 million already this year, right? So with 2,000 cannabis licenses out in the state so far, it's pretty insane because, yes, 633 retailers, 351 producers, 507 manufacturers. That is just an insane amount of, competition and saturation, but the sales are still high. It's just that, yes, there's a lot of players and a lot of dilution. So it's just a very interesting concept because, you think about the cannabis industry and where it's even at right now, maybe whatever rep it currently has in whatever place that you are, right? It has a different rep to everybody. Well, cannabis is still trending up. It's still trending towards legalization. It's still trending towards descheduling. And, there still really is probably about 50% of the population who really has not even ever tried cannabis yet. And that's totally okay. Maybe the subset of people who will never try it, right, are not, I don't know what the number is, but the 50% guys, people who haven't tried it, and granted, a lot of those people that may be in that boomer population are someday maybe going to consider it. And when is that moment going to be for different people, right? That moment may be hospice. That moment may be, right, chronic pain. That moment may be a car accident. And it's not to sit there and think like, hey, you're not going to consider what are my options for health, for analgesia, right, for whatever other relief until you need to use those options. And for those people, those are the people that probably, right, have never tried cannabis before. And it's easy to, at that point, probably just be within the norm of, hey, well, cannabis has always been illegal. I'm not going to, there's no need to endorse it. There's no need to even really consider it at all because my health is just fine. And so is those of everybody else around me. But, when that moment comes, God forbid, right, that health statuses start to decline for whoever it may be. Where are you going to look for comfort, for care, for wellness? Are you going to contribute to the opioid epidemic? Are you going to contribute to, right, blowing up somebody's kidneys with NSAIDs? What is it that perhaps may or may not, be the options on the table at that point? And that's what you really look at, because you get to those options on the table when you're looking at, correct, hospice, when you're looking at, chronic pain and inflammation, inflammatory conditions of all kinds. And you really do start seeing things there that, there are not a lot of options, because you start looking at inflammatory markers, or, what injections can be done when things happen, or God forbid, cancer, right? And there's a lot of associated symptoms that come with these different disease states. And I think that's where cannabis, interestingly enough, still continues to have a place for absolutely more growth. And again, where you look at New Mexico's cannabis industry having its best month last year at $34 million. But anybody you talk to around here, probably says they're so used to seeing cannabis stores, which is right. There's, again, over 2,000 total cannabis licenses issued, 633 retailers. So, what is that? Of course, everybody's used to seeing cannabis dispensaries everywhere, because yes, there's 633 licenses issued right now. And so, really, I think the way that we kind of look at the industry as a sales topping its entire last month, best sales ever, $34 million. It continues to go up, and most people who haven't used it aren't going to be ready to use it until the moment comes that they might actually need it, or somebody in their life will. And I hope that, their hearts and their minds are open at that point to, ask those right questions and, make the right decisions, because I know and I believe strongly that the intervention that cannabis can have when it comes to pain reduction, opiates, inflammation, is very, very promising. And, when you're looking at things like cancer and appetite and the inflammation associated from, dealing with radiation and everything that goes with that, there is just a lot of opportunity for better healthcare. And again, are the healthcare institutions that were slinging opioids out like freaking Skittles going to bow down and accept the fact that they screwed up? No, Rite Aid's going to file for bankruptcy. They're going to avoid $3.3 billion of debt and all the claims that they have against it, and they're going to get out of it. Sneaky, right? So again, big pharma is not necessarily, it's not something to consider like the enemy here. It's just that, yes, everybody is trying to protect themselves. And in that case where you look at, the opioid lawsuits in Rite Aid, guys, if cannabis was legal this whole entire time since the 1900s, would Rite Aid have ever been in this position? Would we be having a war on opioids? Who's to say? And so the only thing that we really can look at is how to reduce, right, opioid doses with the current conventional treatments being Suboxone, not much else, whatever other buprenorphine options are out there, guys. You got methadone for those who are really, really struggling. And there's, right, again, not a whole lot out there. And for those who actually are dealing with real chronic conditions that are going on rather than just an opioid addiction, it sucks to add an opioid addiction in there on top of that, on top of the upregulation of the receptors and the continued need for increased dose. So when you look at New Mexico's cannabis industry, I would still say there is incredible amounts of, wellness to be spread and lathered everywhere. You look at Albuquerque and Espanola and Santa Fe, and they are not guilty of up north of the Breaking Bad capital of the world for no reason, guys. They are, right. Opioids are bad. Heroin is insane, right? Fentanyl is now the thing. So cannabis can really actually be a new option for treatment, for recovery, for prevention. And where we look at everything there, I think just worth thinking about, worth talking about and considering. Cool. So that's our Herbal Wellness Corner, guys, brought to you guys by High Horse Cannabis Company, the trailblazers of the cannabis industry and proud sponsors of our Herbal Wellness Corner with dispensaries in Chaparral, on Valley Drive, on North Main Street in Las Cruces, and soon to be in Hobbs, New Mexico. High Horse is your go-to destination for quality cannabis products, committed to professionalism, respect, and helping people. High Horse is changing lives for the better. Writing history, not just reading it. Visit one of their locations and experience the High Horse difference. Check out their website, highhorse.com. Discovering the future of cannabis today. Cool, guys. Well, moving on, community spotlight. Going to shout out somebody I had the honor of interviewing on our live stream today, Vado Speedway Park live stream that we do on Tuesdays. Our winner for the feature races for the SH Automotive Pure Stock class, guys. I talk about racing on Saturdays mainly and Tuesdays for our Vado cast, but I love to talk about racing, absolutely. And this one is a special shout out to Scott Sullivan. He is a driver in the Pure Stock class. It's like the entry level stock car class, and he lost his daughter in 2020. Her name was Haley, and he lost her in a tragic accident. This year he came out this season, wanted to race a full season dedicated, coming out, committing to every single night. And his car was in tribute to his daughter, Haley, who passed away again. And he finally got it done. He found his way onto victory lane last weekend. And it was awesome to see his come up throughout the class. So, a local driver, he's from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, and he's bringing back racing in that community. And that's really awesome to see, a young, hardworking man that's just putting it all together and putting it all out there, and really does deserve the shout out. So, again, this one's to Scott Sullivan, the Heart and Wheel Triumph, young man thumping around that track. He made it and got it done in the Haley tribute car. That was awesome. So again, got a 2-day show at Vado Speedway Park this weekend, guys. Talking about Vado Speedway Park, sponsors of our Men's Health Minute. Ignite your excitement for Vado Speedway Park, thrilling sponsor for the Men's Health Minute. Feel the rush of adrenaline with thrilling races and join me, Dr. Joaquin Acosta, your color commentator at the Vado Speedway Park. Whether you're a racing fan or seeking a weekend thrill, Vado Speedway Park delivers unmatched excitement. Get those tickets online ahead of time, VadoSpeedwayPark.com, guys. See you for a 2-day show. We got the Power Eye 360 non-wing Desert Series out here. It's going to be some great racing. Who loves sprint cars, and a whole bunch of other great racing, extended purses for the Whole Sea Racing INEX Legends class, as well as the Anthony Sosa Roofing late models class. So guys, late models, fun to watch, beautiful cars, amazing, love it. But talking about men's health, sponsored by Vado Speedway Park, guys. Looking at the associations between masculinity and healthcare. So what does this exactly mean? Looking at a study here, studies sought to identify themes related to masculine norms and healthcare seeking behavior in traditional heterosexual married men. Scholars have argued for more research that investigates the interplay of several factors from multiple domains and levels on how they operate in tandem. So again, looking at this, right, what are the themes in, men's health, right? Masculine norms, those are the themes, right? The overarching approach and orientation to doctor seeking behavior is well influenced by masculine norms. So what are masculine norms? So look at these things. I'm going to give you some examples of masculine norms at different levels. So interesting, according to this study here. And it's okay to guys just to sit here and think, guilty a little bit, right? Masculine norms or men's adoption of what they perceive to be idealized male behavior seem to be exhibited by all participants. This was seen as the overarching theme that influenced the rest of the domain's levels. Again, the theme included language such as men don't go through to the doctor, push through pain, men avoid going to the doctor, and fulfillment of what they perceive to be societal expectations of them as men. So again, one of them put it this way: bleeding, yeah, super glue it, why go to the doctor when you can fix it yourself, kind of thing. So that's the kind of mentality I was raised with, and for a lot of people, sick people that I know, it's pretty similar. Men avoid going to the doctor. I'm not sick. If it's not broken, well, fix it. Why fix it? So, right, you look at some of the, hello. You look at some of the, right, different perceptions there, and that's just at the societal level of masculine norms. Well, look at the organizational levels here, right? What are the perceptions of the healthcare system or perception of doctors generally and men? Unfortunately, right, men, this is part of the masculine norms, right? Yep. This is another participant in the study, age 35, married 3 years, put it this way. Yep. I don't like it because they'll diagnose you for one thing. Next thing you do, you'll have to come back and they don't diagnose you for the same. They'll diagnose you for something else. And you were just there yesterday. Oh, yeah, and you had this, but you had to come in with different symptoms. Oh, now you have this. What happened to this? Oh, you don't have this. Now you have this. So it's just me, So again, you look at that entire snippet there of how to rationalize not going to the doctor, and it's fair because you look at the societal norms of, well, I'm trying to avoid a big bill, right? I'm trying to, I will put myself last in terms of swiping that card, and it maybe men shouldn't think of going to the doctor as going to write the mechanic there, that the mechanic's going to upcharge you for all the things that you don't know about your car, and at the same time, therefore, I think the doctor is going to upcharge me for everything that I don't know about that's going on in my body. Which, as much as that paranoia exists, because you might have to pay for it. So if you didn't have to pay for it, for sure, right? Of course, it wouldn't matter. It's not what I'm saying is to have free healthcare. It's just to kind of say the fact of, hey, this is where men do create a negative perception of doctors on an organizational level, and that's perfectly justified because you kind of see the nickel and diming there, and the bills start adding up. And as much as you don't want it to be some sort of influenced by any sort of paranoia, you just think that, hey, well, I would rather avoid a bill at the end of the day. So, to guys there, how can you have a better, more positive perception of doctors and at the same time, go and actually convert to going, right? This guy, after showing had a positive perception here, despite the fact that research questions were focused on why men did not seek a doctor, there were times that men discussed how helpful they viewed those encounters. That observation was noted because it is important in qualitative research to identify negative cases or narratives that may not fit the overall pattern of the data. So again, some people did say, male 25, I'd rather go to the doctor. If something's suspicious going on, I would definitely go to the doctor. If I want to seek a specialist, I'd definitely go and see. Same with my wife. So again, Some people, people are different and the patterns aren't all the same, but where have you heard that before from dad, grandpa, uncle, auntie, or, not auntie, excuse me, right? Uncle, buddy. So wherever that could be, again, another one, family context and money concerns. I have to tough this out, whatever. And then I had a kidney stone one time, and that was the most pain I've ever had. And I was sitting there trying to tough it out best I could for hours, and finally had to break it down. My wife's just like, go to the hospital. Again, anybody remembers Joe Burns, that's the absolute epitome of something that we kind of wanted to, shine a different light on there of, hey, you do have to commit to your healthcare, because at the other end where you don't see, the preventative healthcare, it takes, it's not the easy way out, because getting that doctor's opinion and getting your body right is the harder way to do it. Otherwise, you could just ignore it, be indifferent to it, and then pay for it later. Same thing with, right, a relationship with money, right, in the same sense. So looking at this, implications for this, health education and promotion programs that consider masculine gender scripts in promotion planning. So again, masculinity at the society level may be unable to be changed or addressed, at least until the intergenerational transmission of masculine ideals subsides or is modified. And, this is not to wipe them out entirely. This is not what we're saying. It's literally just saying, where can you have a male-friendly approach in adjusting language? Interesting thinking of a team meeting with your provider. And even just some of the language in the masculinity there that you can make even more relatable can actually really start having some positive interventions when it comes to healthcare. And I think that's a fantastic, approach there. And I think there's just different narratives that people can change for the men in their lives. And men, if you're already a man, thinking about that, and it's okay to, be a little bit more male friendly when it comes to talking about going to the doctor and things like that, whether it's with your family, with yourself, find a way to make that time, because you will actually save money down the line. Promise. Again, last shout out, Trichome Alliance, harmonious sponsor for the community spotlight. Almost missed them, but join Trichome Alliance, us, at the Butt Cancer Gala on 9/21/23. It's a Thursday at Amador Live for an unforgettable Italian-style dinner. Early bird ticket, $65 till August 31st, then $75 after. Password to get into the gala is going to be great. Purchase them online ahead of time. We'll see you guys there. It's been a good stream tonight, guys. Love it, love it, love it. We will talk to you guys